888-848-4141.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Whirlpool.
Thank you for choosing Whirlpool, where we are committed to being the best global kitchen and laundry company in constant pursuit of improving life at home. For more information on Whirlpool, please visit whirlpool.com.
Hot and muggy as we head into our Friday. Once again, we'll have a high of 93 degrees with a heat index in the upper 90s near 100 degrees. Might see a couple of spotty storms popping up in the afternoon. Rain chance not that great. Mostly sunny skies over the weekend, but boy, is that heat and humidity going to be up another notch. 94 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday, and we will have a heat index of about 100 or 101 both days of the weekend. Download the Local 3 weather app, free for iPhone and Android. I'm Chief Meteorologist David Carnes for the Local 3 Storm Alert Team.
Your current Milligan Vane temperature is 91 degrees. MilliganVane.com.
Don't miss the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekday afternoons from 2 until 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Always topical, always entertaining. Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees.
Whirlpool Cleveland is currently hiring for entry-level production roles. Starting pay $18.25 per hour, jumps to $19.35 per hour after 90 days. Benefits start on day one, including medical, dental, vision, 401k, life insurance, and more. 120 total hours of paid time off. 10 hours the first 3 months. Remaining balance after 90 days. Apply at jobs.whirlpool.com. Jobs.whirlpool.com.
You're listening to Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. The Drive is coming up. The ESPN Cleveland 101.3 lineup is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. WholesaleSupply.us.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians from $22 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, and vision insurance. Paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply at Duracell.com.
Check out the great savings this July at Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland, where you can get employee pricing all month long. You pay what they pay. Savings of up to $7,500 on a brand new Nissan. 0% APR on 25 Murano, Rogue, or Pathfinder, and up to $1,750 in bonus cash. Want to trade in your old car? Nissan is giving up to $7,000 over book value when you trade, and they will buy your car even if you don't buy theirs. Shop in person on exit 20 off I-75, cleveland-nissan.com. Payments are per month for 75 months. Does not include tax, tag, title, or dealer doc fee. Must finance through the dealer. Subject to credit approval and pick from new dealer stock.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no slap. Got a thirst for killing. Drink your body.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland on another warm Thursday. It's definitely, well, you can tell we're getting close to those dog days of August. We're right outside of it because it is steamy hot outside.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. You literally could put on a loop hot and muggy, a heat index in the upper 90s, close to triple digits, and just put it on a loop for the rest of July and all of August, and it would probably be pretty accurate because that's the weather we have to endure this time of year.
Hey, y'all could just be like me. You know, I spent from 10:30 till about 4:05 in the pool today, and
That's a way to do it.
I felt great. I felt awesome.
Some of us have to work during the day this time of year.
Hey, I have to work during the day. It's just between the 5 to 6 hour. That's it.
That's a good gig right there.
You school teachers, man, you guys have got it made this time of year, do you not?
Yeah, it's getting shorter and shorter. It feels like. I'm not going to sit here and complain though, because I know a lot of people that got up for work this morning. Now they get to listen to us on the way home. So
That's it. That's it.
Excited y'all are here listening.
Well, I want to speak for our students for just a second here in the community. Can we pump the brakes on all the back to school stuff? Like, listen, I'm in the profession. I get it. Like, we love what we do. We want a welcoming atmosphere. Like, we want that, understand it. But, like, we just finished the All-Star break, okay? Can we enjoy the last little bit of summer we have left before we walk into the stores with back to school hitting us in the face and all the commercials on Mix 104.1 of, getting back in the building? Like, come on now.
Hey, if you want something that'll blow your mind, and I'm not going to mention the name of the store, but there's a store here where you get lots of knickknacks and stuff like that. They've got Christmas trees up.
That's crazy.
I'm not lying when I say
we just finished the All-Star break.
Christmas trees up. It's July. Come on, talk about pumping the brakes.
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve as far as like summer, because you guys know this. I'm a summertime guy. I'm a baseball season guy. I just love being able to turn on the radio, turn on the TV, and my Braves, who are struggling right now, being on every single night. I love that accessibility to one of my favorite teams. Now, things have been tough for the Braves. A lot of rumors going on. Obviously, we're at the point where we're sellers, going to be getting rid of some people. Jesse Chavez announced today he's retiring. Uncle Jesse, or Coach, as the team likes to call him, the elder statesman there in the bullpen.
Honestly, we need to give him a round of applause. He's the best double agent there has ever been for the Braves. So
no doubt. When needed, he was there. 18-year career. He did announce on the Foul Territory podcast today that he was retiring, and I imagine effective immediately, unless he gets a call from someone saying, "Hey, come on, man, we need you."
Calling him.
Yeah, he struggled his last couple outings.
There comes a point where it's just not happening no more. It happens to every professional athlete. Some hang on too long, some retire too early. Like Barry Sanders, I thought he retired a little too early.
Yes.
And some guys don't get to retire. Some guys you get cut. Well, I say eventually you just say, well, I guess I'm not going to try it no more, and that's considered a retirement. But yeah, this guy, how many teams have he played for, and how many times has he been up and down just with the Braves this year?
I believe it was
this year.
Throughout his entire career and his tenure specifically with the Braves, there have been seven different times in which he was either added to the roster, traded for, but brought back to the Atlanta Braves.
I mean, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
7 times. That's an organization that knows they can rely on you, though, and knows your track record and says, listen, we know what we're going to get out of this guy. And one thing that he said today that I heard was he talked about how when he came into the league, he was thrown mid-upper 90, or he was low 90s. Then he got to where he was a mid-upper 90s guy, and now he's back lower velocity, lower speed of his fastball, and he had to change the type of pitcher that he was. And that's what creates that longevity of not trying to be a – we saw Tim Lincecum, who was a phenomenal pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. He could not recreate himself in a different way because he was a power pitcher. And it took his toll. He lost that velocity. He was a smaller guy. And his career was awesome, but it was extremely short. The guys like Jesse Chavez that can figure out how to not just be throwers, but be pitchers and adjust,
Yep.
Those are the guys that have those long careers.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's inevitable, these guys that come up. I mean, listen, Paul Skeens, let's just use him as an example. Right now, he's throwing upper 90s and maybe triple digits from time to time. He's a young guy. He's in his early 20s. In his mid-30s, he may not be able to do that. And he's going to have to figure it out between now and then that you don't have to throw it 99 miles an hour to get someone out. You can throw it, 90 and hit those balls. I mean, for crying out loud, Greg Maddux, what was the fastest ball he ever threw? 90?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Earlier in his career, he could get 92, 93.
Yeah. But he was never a guy that could throw, in the upper 90s.
And he never relied on it.
No.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between throwing hard and being a pitcher.
Right, exactly.
Being a pitcher is being able to set up pitches and get into the batter's head and think, like, what do they struggle with? How do I set up my next pitch? There's a difference. And I think a guy like Paul Skeens, why he will have a pretty good career is because he's got like 8 or 9 pitches that he's playing with right now that he can work into account. And so it's really hard to go up because he can blow one by you, but then he can also throw a nasty slider. He can also, there's a lot there to handle. I think to be successful though in a longevity, the throwing hard is short term.
Yes.
The one thing though is when you do lose that blow past you fastball, and the batters know you don't have that no more. That's one less thing they've got to worry about. So if they know you can't throw it past them, now they're going to be sitting on whatever else. So, and there again, eventually, I believe you're right. I think he will figure it out as he gets older. But listen, he's very young into his career. He's got that. He's got that power pitch.
He's got it for a while. But the thing that I love, when I look at a pitcher and think like they've got good stuff, they're able to make pitches look like each other that end up in completely different locations.
Exactly.
So being able to mirror your fastball into another pitch, to be able to, when it comes out of your hand, to look like one thing but then end up completely different. That's something that sets guys apart.
And not being stuck in the same habits. That's something that the elite pitchers, you don't know what they're going to throw next. There's certain counts where, listen, hey, fastball's coming here. The best pitchers in the league, you might get a slider. You might get a changeup. You don't know what you're going to get. And I feel like, Jim, what you were just saying, I immediately started thinking Spencer Strider. So we saw him.
Did
too. We saw him come back from injury without that velocity this year, and he struggled. Now, he's a smart guy. Spencer Strider is a smart cat. He's intelligent. He's a deep thinker, and he puts a lot of what do you say we go ahead and dive into our Brave segment? You want to do that right now?
Absolutely.
So, hey, real quick, for over 100 years, Mayfield Dairy has been delivering farm-fresh dairy beloved by Southern families. Learn more about Mayfield today at mayfielddairy.com. Gotta love those cattle images on the back of the semi-trucks, as we've talked about on this show.
I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, it was so cool. It caught me off guard, and was very excited to be able to talk about it on the show. So, but going ahead and diving in, Spencer Strider last night, obviously not his best version. Went 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks in the Braves' loss in the rubber match to the Giants, 9-3. And bullpen didn't help. Dodd, Dunning gave up 3 earned runs each, and that accounted for the 9 runs for the Giants. And looking at Spencer Strider, we saw him, going back to what I was saying, we saw him coming back from injury this year where he's trying to be a pitcher, and he's relied in his career up to this point so much on that velocity. When you could throw 100, why not rely on it?
Sure.
He was not there. Hitters were aware of that. They were sitting on pitches. They were waiting, and we saw Spencer Strider struggle early. He was getting lit up. He was giving up the deep ball, the long ball, and I think that he's the type of guy that is eventually, because you look at his frame, he's a smaller guy. He's not a long stride guy, no pun intended, but he doesn't have that long
like
frame.
Tom Seaver had.
Yes, like Tom Seaver, Randy Johnson.
Long stride,
Yeah, he's not one of those guys. So all his velocity is generated from his hips, from his downhill motion, from his hips, from that torque that he gets. And you worry naturally, how long will he be able to maintain whenever that velocity is not at 100 anymore and we're at 95, 94. I think he's intelligent enough to work with the right people to adjust to become a different kind of pitcher. His slider's insane.
Did you see the clip from 680 The Fan about potentially moving him into the bullpen but creating a position for him?
Yes, that was Chris Domino, which Chris has some ridiculous takes every once in a while.
You talking about moving Spencer Strider to
the bullpen. But I actually this made me raise an eyebrow.
It may, again, I think he's going to get back to his normal self, but in the future, basically, Jim, what he proposed is that every 8 to 10 days, he called him the god of the pen, and he would come in and close a game from the 7th inning to the 9th inning. And he didn't want to call him a 9-out closer because he said that sounds lame and it sounds really ridiculous and makes it seem. But a guy that comes in and you're in a game that you can win, you're in a 4-2 scenario, and you ask him to go close inning 7, 8, and 9. And I thought to myself, like, that's not terrible idea. I don't know that I would want to keep.
I mean, I look at John Smoltz was able to do it, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, when his career gets to a point where he may not be the best starter that you need to go out and get 5 or 6 innings out of him, hopefully 6 or 7 to add. But if you want somebody that is dominant and that could close out a game, Spencer Strider's stuff looks good. And so it made me, I don't know, I haven't processed it all yet, but it may, like you said, it made me raise an eyebrow.
When I heard Chris Domino, 680, the fan out of Atlanta, when I heard this take, like I said, it made me raise an eyebrow, and I thought about it. We've got enough starting pitching in Atlanta at this point where, listen, when A.J. Smith-Shaver's healthy, Grant Holmes, Chris Sale, and all the younger arms, when you can put together 5-6 solid innings, which is, let's be honest, it's a different day and age. We don't need guys going 8 innings anymore. If you can give us 5-6 innings, what a great piece out of a bullpen. And you can piece your bullpen around and have some Dylan Lees and guys that are going to help you. But what a great weapon to have with Spencer Strider, and maybe that helps him save that velocity for a longer period of time in his career.
Here's my thing. You say we don't need guys going 7-8 innings no more. My thing, some guys can, and with the guys that can should
let them.
And
yes.
That's the one thing that drives me crazy. If I'll see a guy that's dominating, and they're into the 6th inning, they dominated the 6th inning,
and they get pulled.
They get pulled. I'm like,
it drives me crazy.
Wait a minute. I get taking them out if you see that the velocity's going down, this, whatever. Listen, and I know I'm living in the past. Guys like Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan,
Jim Palmer,
Chris, and Roger Clemens. Those guys were going 7, 8, 9 innings all the time,
consistently,
and their arms were just fine. Not everyone's built like those guys. Okay,
yes.
I think they're rare, but I think there are guys that still exist like that. But for crying out loud, it just seems like every manager thinks, well, if he gives me 5 innings, maybe 6, we're good. I'm like, but if he's dominant, go ahead and put him in there. Keep him on the mound.
That's not good when you don't have a good bullpen, which is...
Yeah. I genuinely like analytics. Like, I do. I like looking at them. I like, relying on them to some sorts. But sometimes I'm like, get out of your own head. And, like, you're watching what I'm watching. It's the same thing when we watch the NFL draft when they start like, well, his hands are this big and he's only this tall. I'm like, did you watch the film? Did you watch the tape?
Yeah, Joe Burrow's hands are too small, y'all. Just to FYI.
Are you watching what this guy's doing on the mound right now? Why are we yanking him? It makes no sense to me. And then it always seems you yank him, you put a bullpen piece out there, and they get shelled.
And I think there's maybe 5 or 10% of the pitchers that are capable of doing this on a regular, 7, 8 innings. That's fine, but you figure out who those 7 or 8% are, and those are the guys you let them go.
Well, and if they're having a day where they're sitting at 77 pitches through 6 innings, like let them roll out there through the 7th. Like your normal day allotment, they're letting you roll. But you see it all the time where they're like, oh, we're going to save him for his next start. And I'm like,
that's one of those things you see. Spencer Strider, he's a guy that kind of wears his emotion on his sleeve. You see him get irritated. He gets a little pissed off whenever Snick comes to get him sometimes because he knows he still has his stuff.
Yep.
And that's something I think there is a gray area where certain guys, hey, I understand they're young. They've been throwing year-round for the past 10 years of their life. Like, I get it. That's the difference between those guys that Jim and I, when you're talking about these Hall of Famers that consistently would pitch complete games, They were multi-sport athletes. We've talked about it on this show. They did different things. Their arm had a break. Some of these young guys understand you got to be careful with them. We saw it with Steven Strasburg in Washington. They put a pitch count on him, and ultimately the guy just was overthrown, and his career was probably cut shorter than a lot of us wanted it to be. One of the great pitchers of this generation. But I think that there's a point in time where, like Jacob says, you have to say, wait a minute, this is Spencer Strider. He's healthy. He feels good. Let the guy go.
Absolutely.
But with that, a lot going on with the Atlanta Braves. Off tonight, tomorrow. They start a 3-game set out in Arlington with the Texas Rangers. Braves currently 4th in the National League East, 14 games back of, God, this hurts to say, the first-place Mets, and 10.5 games out of the wild card. It's safe to say at this point, and this is how we're going to wrap our Braves segment, that the Braves are sellers. I think that's a reality. Guys that have been mentioned already with some potential trade rumors or Marcell Ozuna, Jared Kelenic, who's currently at AAA for the Braves, and Raciel Iglesias. Obviously, Iglesias and Ozuna's contracts nearing their end with Atlanta. So what you look for out of those guys is, and listen, I'm a Marcell Ozuna fan. It's going to hurt. That's the emotional side of sport. You like a guy, and you're like, oh, well, can't we just re-sign him for one more? Like, at this point, this isn't a playoff team. We're aware of that. We know that. And the Braves have to get better. So those three specifically, you're carrying three catchers right now because we've seen Marcell on the bench not DHing, getting Drake Baldwin some more ABs, getting Sean Murphy some more ABs. So I feel like we're going to see some moves sooner than later.
You know, the Braves are on pace. We talked about this yesterday. They're on pace to win 71 games and lose 91. No way would anyone have predicted that before the season began. If you'd have said, hey, the Braves are going to finish right around 500, I'm like, well, that'd be a disappointment, but it's possible. There's no way I would have ever thought that they could finish 20 games under 500. And that's that's at their current winning percentage, that's what would happen.
Yeah, just between injuries with pitching and not being able to put up run production, I feel like it was the perfect storm this year of just, this is why we're here. And yes, we're sellers, but let's use it to our advantage because this team's core, at the core, it's a playoff team. The problem is with the injuries and with us. How many one-loss games have we lost this year?
It was terrible.
How many? It wasn't the year for the Braves, in my opinion. And so, if you can put yourself in a better position next year, this year is what it is. We're here. We're living it. We're on pace for that. Let's make some moves that put us into a position next year that maybe those one-loss games that we lost this year fall our way next year, and we're in the position to be in that race, to be in contention, and to go on and go further. But ultimately, where we're at right now, we're not contenders.
No.
I mean, we're just not.
And I think this season exposed some serious needs within the organization. There's a lack of depth at pitching. We had a lot of guys get hurt. I get it. Mm-hmm. Starting pitching, bullpen. We only had a couple guys that are really reliable out of that bullpen. Iglesias, unfortunately, listen, the guy's been great for the Braves up until this year. He struggled. He kind of had a little bit of a resurgence there for a while, but he's a guy that's been doing it for a while. So you've got to have back-end bullpen. Got to have it to be a playoff team. And again, the Spencer Strider thing, maybe that's something we see down the road. I don't know. But until then, you've got to get bullpen pieces. You've got to have some depth at starting pitching with the way these guys are going down with injuries, not just in the Braves organization, but across the league. You've got to be willing to spend money. Chris Sale is great, but guess what? He's another guy.
He's getting up there.
Yeah, he's at the end of his career.
Yeah,
so the fact that Max Fried, this is amplified to me now, sitting here today, knowing where the Atlanta Braves are in fourth place in the National League East. The fact that Max Fried is throwing pitches in pinstripes is more frustrating now than it was during the offseason.
Yeah, I agree, and I said that last week too. Like,
got to spend money.
You can't let guys like that walk. And sometimes the Braves act like they're a mid-market team, and they're not able to pay these guys. You're making over $800 million off the battery alone. Yeah. I know that you're making money. I know that you have money as an organization to go spend. You've got guys on club-friendly deals. You've got Acuna at a steal.
Who's going to need to get paid?
Yes.
Oh, they're going to have to renegotiate that.
The guys going out there and making star play after star play after star play. You got Ozzie for $35 million. You got all these guys on good club-friendly deals. And a guy that could go out there and be a difference maker every 5 games who was in your organization, you let him walk. And that just frustrates me.
How frustrating it is to watch Dansby Swanson with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
He should have been an Atlanta Brave for a long time.
Ultimately, Freddie probably should have retired a Brave. Dansby should have been in a Braves jersey forever.
The shortstop's an issue right now.
It
is. I think Dansby more so made a decision to be in Chicago
with his wife,
because his wife plays in Chicago, and the money made sense, and it's a great organization. I think probably ultimately we could have matched or done exactly what the Cubs did. I think he walks.
Jim's going to hate me for what I'm about to say.
That one doesn't bother me.
Ellie De La Cruz coming to Atlanta.
Listen, Braves need to make a phone call.
Yeah.
The Braves, this is the thing about the Braves farm system. They've got some guys that are worth listening to when it comes to trade. there's a plethora of young talent, and specifically, you look at this draft that just took place, they got a lot of middle infielders.
Yeah, they drafted 3 in the first 3 rounds.
Yes, so that's a guy, I think he's one of the best in baseball right now. And we're about to see the teams meet up in the Speedway Classic up in Bristol.
Can't wait, man.
I'm excited. I'm actually going to be in attendance. I'm excited.
Boogity, amen.
Yes, right up there in Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm really excited about it. Man, that's the first time I've been here to actually experience it in person. Bravo, Jacob Mason, with the clip there.
Hey, I love my new boogity button. That's what I'm calling it, the boogity button.
But I'm excited about the Speedway Classic. We're going to talk more as that approaches. And but Ellie De La Cruz, one of the best players in baseball. Braves need to get on the phone and say, what do you want, Cincinnati?
Line up against behind the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cardinals and name
everybody else.
5 other MLB teams.
They also need to get in talks with Pittsburgh about Paul Skeens, but we're just being a little over the top with that stuff. Hey, you're listening to The Drive. When we come back, we've got a lot of college football to talk about. I've been chomping at the bit. I've been listening to you guys while I've been out. And I've been chomping at the bit to dive in to all kinds of stuff that's going on across college football. James Franklin and Penn State worrying about everybody except Penn State. Going to talk about that. Going to talk about the Boo Carter drama.
Oh, my God.
A lot of stuff happening up in Knoxville, all when we come back right here on The Drive.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia of Cleveland, and I need your help. We're under construction, and I've got cars everywhere. I've got them in the grass, down the street. We need to get these cars where they belong, in your driveway. So we're rolling them out of here at whatever price it takes. Bring us any trade in any condition, and we will give you $7,000 more than Kelly Blue Book fair value toward the purchase of any new Kia, Telluride, Sorrento, or Sportage. Yes, $7,000 more than your trade is worth. Are you a credit challenge car buyer? That's okay. At Kia Cleveland, our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. Remember, I'll be any deal from anywhere in Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. So if you want $7,000 more than your trade is worth, come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Offer subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardee's morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime. Like Hardee's smoked sausage biscuit, split Hillshire Farm smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. And our Frisco breakfast sandwich with cherrywood smoked bacon or ham on toasted sourdough. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Hip or knee pain holding you back? There's a new reason to feel hopeful. Dr. Andrew Carlone is now part of the team at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics in Cleveland. He brings advanced training in total hip and knee replacement, including minimally invasive techniques that get you back on your feet faster. Let Cleveland's orthopedic experts help you live your best life. Call 423-624-2696 or go to sportmed.com to book your visit now.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com.
And you are listening to The Drive. Andy Morris here with Jim Gum and Jacob Mason. And you heard us kind of get some Braves frustration off our chest in the first segment. And, again, going to have the Speedway Classic coming up. Excited about that, Jim and I.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
That's it.
Amen.
Jim and I are going to be able to, share our love for our teams. Jacob, obviously me and Jacob being the big Braves guys, Jim being the big Cincinnati Reds fan. And a little bit, we're in different stages of our fandom with where our teams are right now. Reds are doing better than the Braves.
Well, the Reds are 1-3 against the Braves this year.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. When the Reds have played like the Marlins, the Braves, they've done horrible, and you can't do that. You gotta do better than that against teams that you should be better than this year, and that's why the Reds probably will not make the postseason. I know that
they're in the mix.
I know they're in the mix all the time, but they
all
do
the
this,
time.
They do this year after year after year. They have the lack of being able to close things out every year, and August usually does them in. We'll just see what they do in 2025.
Yeah, so we'll have more coverage of the Atlanta Braves right here on the drive, as well as the Speedway Classic as we transition. Oh, there it is. I got to slow down. I got to let you get it in
well,
there.
you got to stop saying Speedway
Classic.
Because every time you do
Speedway Classic.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Amen.
It's my new favorite button.
That is. But listen, we're going to transition over to some college football now. And obviously, I mentioned the James Franklin stuff. Let's put that on the back burner for a second, because I know our volunteer listeners are a little bit more concerned about the other topic that we planned on talking about, and it's Boo Carter.
Yep.
So, obviously, there's been a lot of drama out of Knoxville. All of you Vol fans that are on the message boards, that are reading the blogs, and quite frankly, it became kind of a national college football story that Boo has not been present at some team activities. Now, I've read some things that kind of contradict each other, that apparently some of these were non-mandatory, but we're talking SEC football. When Josh Heupel says, "I want you there," you need to be there.
Yeah.
And the successful programs have their teams there putting in the work during the offseason. Now, they're given time. Like, I understand the whole vacation thing and, like, having time with your family and yada, yada, yada. Like, I get it. Like, that's across the country. Every conference, every university, every school, they kind of operate on a similar system. But to the point that your captains, your leaders on your team are frustrated, and they're voicing their frustration not only in-house, but now they're talking to people that run these blogs. They're talking to people that run these pretty much, the 24/7s, the rivals.
On threes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's leaking out there that you've got some teammates that are frustrated with your actions. It was reported that Boo Carter has missed after an offseason of negotiating some money and a bigger role on the team, wanting to play offense, wanting to be your return guy consistently, wanting to start on the defense. He's basically wanting to be Travis Hunter. And Boo Carter has all the talent to absolutely do that, in my opinion. And I want to preface what I'm about to say, because I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm really not. But this is kind of Boo Carter's track record. This isn't new. We've seen some things that have kind of made you question and raise eyebrows before, like, is this a guy that we want on our team? Talent-wise, absolutely.
100%, yeah.
So I want to say this, because hats off to Coach Floyd and Bradley Central, because they got the best out of Boo Carter. And there is not a high school around here. And I wouldn't be talking like this if he were still a high school kid. I'm gonna say that as well. But they got the best out of Boo Carter for the year that he was at Bradley, and what a phenomenal player. Every high school around here would have taken Boo Carter. So, again, applause to Coach Floyd and all of our Bradley fans out there. You got to experience the great side of Boo Carter, and Coach Floyd did a great job keeping him focused on ball. This is the issue, though. He's got a little bit of a track record. We know he left Chattanooga Christian for a reason. And it wasn't because he just wanted to. He was told he needed to. Mm-hmm. And that's well known. Everybody knows that. That's no secret. Because there are off-the-field issues. Now this week, we've seen even his mother show aside that not everyone might not be aware of, going off on social media. And listen, I understand. I'm a dad. I want to protect my kids. I understand that side of things. But it makes you step back and question even more, like what kind of individual, we know he's a great football player. What kind of individual are we dealing with? And you've got teammates frustrated. You've got mom going off on social media. It's a bad look. It's a really bad look. And there's a potential that he's not a part of this Tennessee Vol team when they step on the field to kick off the season.
Yeah, it's definitely been a touchy subject. And, the thing that gets me the most is the teammates speaking out. Because they're all dealing with the same stuff. They're all dealing with NIL negotiations. They're all dealing with practice. But there was a comment that James Pierce Jr. was like this last year, too.
Yes.
And they were fed up with it. And they said, Coach, we don't want another one of these situations. We don't want another situation where we're dealing with a guy that's half in, half out. And so I get it. It's very frustrating. Then you have to look at the head coaching standpoint. Can we navigate this? Because he is a guy that's going to be starting at your star backer on defense. He is a guy that's going to be taking reps in the slot and most likely getting some running back reps as well out of the backfield. He is a guy that's going to be your punt returner and your kick returner. It's a hard because that's a lot of production you're losing out of a guy.
On the heels of the Nico stuff, by the way.
Right. Yes, and so he already had the drama with the renegotiating his deal in the December months and all that during the winter. And then now we're dealing with this. Supposedly it has something to do with NIL stuff. Supposedly it has stuff to do with other things that are going on at home. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate what he's dealing with. All I know is he's brought drama to the team, and that's something that you can't have.
Okay, now I'll preface this by saying I've heard conflicting things out of Knoxville. Some media people up there are saying exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
There are some media members up there that are saying this is being blown way out of proportion. I don't know what to believe because it's all, coming from the media up there in Knoxville. What's really going on, I don't know. But I know that there's been some media people up there that are saying, y'all, this is not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. This is just he just decided he didn't want to. He's going to be here. Everything's going to be just fine. And don't get yourself all worried about it. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not up there. I just hear everything from secondhand.
This is what I think needs to happen. I think Josh Heupel needs to give Damon Floyd a call. Coach Floyd, hey, can you talk to Boo for me? Can you reach out to him? Because I'm being dead serious when I say this. Coach Floyd knows how to manage personnel. He knows how to manage his players. He knows how to manage his team. And I think that's a guy that Boo Carter has a lot of respect for. And sometimes you need the tough love and you need to be brought back down to earth because Boo Carter is in the world of NIL. He's a big brand.
Yeah.
He's been on the cover of several magazines this offseason. We know what his role is. He's a guy that you want soaking up as much opportunity to get better as you can. And the rumors of him being in California and not in Knoxville while his team's practicing and to the point to where it sounds like Coach Heupel's frustrated because he's having to kind of deal with the situation. I say this because I want for my friends that are Tennessee fans, I want them to get the best version of Boo Carter. I want them to get the Bradley Central version of Boo Carter. The false headlines, true or not, are absolutely not good. And one thing that I can say that across Division I college football, typically when you get several of these headlines, maybe they're not entirely true, but there's a little proof to the pudding.
Smoke,
That's literally what I was about to say is where there's smoke, there's fire. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, he's been involved in drama most of his career at some point in time. Whether it be NIL negotiations, whether it be in high school, whatever, he's been involved in drama. So at the bare minimum, he has been a major distraction for his team. These articles they're not good for your team. They're not good for your look. They're not good for anything.
And it's a good way to get the fan base to turn on you.
Right.
If he gets burnt one time or if he has a boneheaded play, they're going to get on him a little harder because of all this stuff that's going on in the summertime.
Well, it's unnecessary pressure on Josh Heupel as well because people are going to question how much control do you have over this team?
Right.
It's a perfect storm. I'm a firm believer for doing the small things right because it equates to the big things. And I think that you look at the most successful college football programs over the last 20 years, you look at the way Kirby Smart does things, you look at the way that Nick Saban did things, there's a consistency. Look at Dabo Swinney, the way he's done things. They do the little things right. They try to keep stuff in-house. If it's a big deal, they deal with it, and they usually deal with it in a pretty stand-up way. Like, calling a spade here. Georgia's had some issues. Just had a commit get popped for some driving issues. It seems like that's a prereq to be a Georgia Bulldog now. You have to have some speeding tickets, some DUIs.
Speed on the field and off the field.
And it's stuff that Kirby Smart's had to deal with. So those black eyes get a magnifying glass put over them.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, Kirby does the right thing 99% of the time, and he says, "See you later." Yeah, it's to the point. They're to the point with that issue with the driving and stuff like that. It's not tolerated
because it can snowball and it can get worse.
Sure it can.
And
Absolutely.
so, yes, they've had like 24 arrests that have to do with some kind of like driving issues in his tenure there. But now,
I got the Bulldog fired up over here, Jim.
Now that it's an issue and it's under the magnifying glass, Kirby says, "All right, you didn't listen to team rules. See you later."
Let me ask you guys this question. I'm just going to say this. We all know what happened to Nico. He leaves the University of Tennessee because Tennessee wouldn't step up and give him more money. I'm just going to say, let's say the same thing happens to Boo Carter. He doesn't get the money that he's wanting, and he doesn't play for the University of Tennessee this year. Probably won't play for anyone this year. Is that a reputation that Tennessee could get?
Absolutely.
It would be hard to overcome.
And that's where I was saying,
I'd be worried about that.
It can be a black eye on not only your program, but specifically your head coach, because you start to question how well does he manage personnel. Because that's a huge part of college athletics, is not just getting the best players, but keeping them in line.
Well, he's the number 2 coach in the country. He's the number 2 coach in the country. He should be able to do that.
That's a lot of the rumors out there.
No, but so your reputation is so important, especially in recruiting. If the whispers start coming, hey, you don't want to go to Tennessee because, if you have a real good year and you want to up your NIL deal, they're not willing to work with you. You don't want that reputation. No, I'm just speculating out loud. That may not be true at all. Well, I'm just sitting here saying I'm starting to read stuff.
And this is genuinely, I feel this way. And I know I'm the Georgia fan. When Tennessee is good, college football is better. It is. I know I don't love y'all coming up and getting in my face and talking about it and all that, but I love Tennessee fans are passionate. Tennessee football is when it's really good, it's really good.
It's one of the biggest markets in all of college football.
There's not a better environment than Neyland Stadium on a Saturday night with all those crazy fans. It may be LSU, but you know what I'm saying. It's great. You don't want this stigma following you. And it's something that I feel like they've got to deal with sooner rather than later, because Tennessee right now, in my opinion, is the best they've been in a really long time. They're above the blue chip rating. They genuinely are a quarterback away, in my opinion, from being able to contend for a national champion. And so you don't want these negotiations and guys sitting out and doing it, because it can fall you and it can hurt you in the recruitment, and coaches agents nowadays are going to start using that against the school, like, you guys aren't really willing to work with us.
Well, there was an executive order signed today that might curtail some of this stuff when it comes to NIL, that you got to, if no more pay for play stuff, that you've got to actually prove that this is a third party entity that you truly are endorsing. This is not a pay for play deal. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that honestly would probably be ideal for the landscape of college football, and maybe potentially drawing Nick Saban back to coach, even something we've joked around and talked about on this show. But my hope for Boo Carter and the Tennessee Vols, I hope he's wearing the orange and white in the fall. I hope he's a huge contributor. And I hope the Vols are in the mix, because right now a lot of magazines, a lot of networks are saying Vols are a number 30-something team. They're a number 40-something team. We don't really know what this team's going to be. They're coming off of a playoff appearance last year. Things obviously didn't go their way up there at Ohio State.
But they were there.
But they were in the mix. So you're in a window of time here where maybe you're not in the playoffs again, but you're right on that bubble where you could be. Right. And with the Nico stuff and the quarterback issues, listen, I hope Joey Aguilar, if he's the one that wins the job, which it sounds like he's going to be, I hope he has a great season. I hope Boo Carter's a part of it, because like Jacob said, it's good for college football. So with that, you guys want to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit what's going on up in the Big Ten Media Days. A lot of shade being thrown at the SEC.
ACC too.
Yeah, ACC Media Days as well. Florida State starting to sound off on the Tide, it sounds like a little bit. All that when we come back here on The Drive.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Hardees is hiring. Join the Star Team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount, plus paid vacation for part-time and full-time employees. Apply in-store or online at hardees.com today. Don Ledford GMC's Summer Upgrade Sales Event going on now through the end of July. You'll get tremendous discounts and factory rebates on their entire inventory of GMC professional-grade pickups and SUVs. Listen to this fantastic deal. Get 20% off and savings on stock number 250586. A 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation Series 4-wheel drive that has an MSRP of $58,825 for just $46,998. 20% off, a savings of $11,800. Now that's a great deal on a great truck. And there are special leasing options as well. Don Ledford GMC, North Lee Highway, Cleveland, or donledford.com for details and a trade assistance coupon. Don Ledford GMC, where they say yes. GMC, we are professional grade. Stock number 250586. Price includes all qualifying rebates and is plus tax, tag, and title and dealer fee of $649. Must take delivery by July 31st, 2025. When it comes to protecting what matters most, it makes sense to choose an insurance agent that's a part of your community. Your local Allstate agent knows the ins and outs of both owning and protecting a home in your neighborhood. By choosing a local Allstate agent, you get an expert who knows the community and is committed to getting to know you. Which means George Gray can help you get the protection you want that fits you and your life. Are you in good hands? Contact George Gray, Allstate Insurance today for a free quote.
What if a friend or a loved one was thinking about suicide? What would you say? What would you do? The Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network provides support. TSPN teaches how to spot warning signs of suicide, and we teach you how to do something. Go to tnprevention.org to learn how you can help with suicide prevention efforts. That's tnprevention.org, a public service announcement of the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network and this station.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland.
Do you suffer from unsightly leg veins? Are your legs turning brown or swelling? Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Do you have restless legs or leg cramps disturbing your sleep? These symptoms are signs of bad veins. Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Find more information online at milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682 and get rid of those bad veins.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
The exclusive home of ESPN Radio in Cleveland and Chattanooga is ESPN Cleveland 101.3. It's never been easier to listen. Download the free ESPN Cleveland 101.3 app from our website. Go to ESPN Cleveland 101.3, no, excuse me, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.com.
Listen, you know you're big time when you've got your own app. And speaking of big time, we've got Big Money, a.k.a. Slim Money Mason, in the building today. Got the lights dimmed for our guy over here.
Still recovering.
Yeah.
But hey,
coming along, though.
I'm able to run the board, so that says something.
Yeah, doing a good job.
I didn't do a great job yesterday, critiquing myself. Left us hot a couple times. That's my fault. You know, I'm gonna.
You're trying to do it with your eyes halfway. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you were actually here doing the show.
Said this last week.
I mean, seriously.
The blind leading the blind over here is what we've got.
It really was. I mean, I was shocked when you came in last week at all, and then here you are again. He had for those he had major stuff. I'm just going to say stuff done to his eyes. We're talking about your sight. I mean, for crying out loud, most guys would not have been here. Listen, here he was, man.
I told Jacob he needs to just let everybody know, and this is going to be the narrative on our show. Just say that I threw sand in your eyes. Like I got mad at him and threw sand in his eyes.
Well, the second surgery, the day I was in here, my eyes were literally like on fire.
Listen, he was over here. He had a thing on his eyeball, like a gauze on his eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt sorry for him.
I know. I honestly felt bad
for him.
I felt bad for Jim. I was like, dude has to look at me like
he
in pain,
was miserable,
like, rocking back and forth, trying to put on a show.
One of the last shows that I did before my short break there, I like to be the funny guy, okay? But Jacob was just kind of looking somewhere, and I couldn't tell where he was looking, so I was just waving my hand in front of his face, just trying to keep it lighthearted here on the drive. And
like I have, Stevie Wonder in here.
That's
man.
That's right. Ray Charles, right?
Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, you name it.
Sing Georgia for us. Can you sing?
No.
Hey, how about that Speedway Classic though?
The Speedway Classic is great.
He had to look around.
He had to look for it.
He had to look around for the button. But hey, listen, we got a lot going on in college football. Media days taking place, Big Ten, ACC, and let's start with this one. SMU head coach Rhett Lashley was very openly, and this seems to be, you're relevant when everyone tries to talk crap about you, and he's part of that crew. Said that the same 6 schools, he was referring to the SEC, the same 6 schools have won the championship since 1964. That seems top-heavy to me, was his comment about the SEC. And everyone knows I'm the Notre Dame guy on the show. Jacob's the Bulldog. Jim's the Buckeye. So not a ton of SEC bias here, but I'll be the first to say it's the best conference in college football.
It is.
I believe it is right now from top to bottom. But I'm also going to say the last 2 national championships belong to the Big Ten between Ohio State and Michigan. There's something to be said for that. When it comes to being top-heavy, this is something that I kind of agree with. And I'm not saying that just to fire everybody up. Like, I genuinely believe that. Start going back to the BCS era, starting in 1998. We'll start from that point.
Tennessee won a national
Tennessee
championship.
Vols, bringing that up so you can enjoy it. Smile a little bit today after that Boo Carter conversation. But Tennessee wins the BCS national championship in 1998. They're kind of they're carrying the torch. They're carrying your flag for you when it comes to the national titles in the SEC. Since then, just being a fan of college football, when I think national championships and I think SEC, I think Alabama, I think LSU, I think Florida, and I think Georgia. Those 4, along with Tennessee getting things started, we'll say 5 there. They're the ones that have really been the leaders of carrying your conference in college football. And again, I'm saying I think it's the best conference in college football. And then you've had Auburn, who has, Auburn's like a quarter.
When Cam Newton was there.
Yeah, they're like a quarter. You got heads and tails. It's either good or it's bad down at Auburn.
When Bo Jackson was there, they've had their moments, but they don't sustain it like these others.
But I feel like outside of those 4 or 5 teams, you don't have anybody else. The teams that are chanting SEC, that are proud to be in the SEC, are typically the ones that aren't winning the national titles.
Yeah, and I understand the comment, but I want to ask how you could probably do that with just about every conference that is a Power 4 conference at this point. That the same couple teams win your title every year.
Yeah, it was Texas and Oklahoma dominating the Big 12.
You've got Clemson, Florida State, and Miami. Outside of that, how many other teams win the ACC? You look at the Big Ten. It's a mix between Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State.
And Wisconsin's had their moments.
Yeah, so that's such an overblown, in my opinion, that's an overblown take, especially when you think back to, for the longest time, the SEC was 10 teams, then it was 12, and then they started adding 14, then 16. Whatever. I think that's a blown out of proportion take, in my opinion, because normally when you say top heavy, having 6 of your 12 that for the longest time be the guys that carry your torch, that's half of your conference.
Sure. What I love, to me, the greatest stat is you add South Carolina and Arkansas in 1992. You add Missouri and Texas A&M in 2014. Then last year, Oklahoma and Texas. None of those 6 newcomers, none of them have ever won the SEC in football. Every single championship that's ever been won is from one of the originals. One of the original teams.
I think you may see a change in that here in the next couple of years.
Well, Texas is favored this year.
Yeah, the way Texas has got things rolling, I think Oklahoma is eventually going to have a resurgence. The addition of those two, and we were talking about this during the break, the addition of those two, talk about two of the most storied programs in college football history, Oklahoma and Texas. I would imagine they're going to contribute. But I do, and I'm saying this for the third time, I think the SEC is the best football conference in the country right now. But the biggest thing when it comes to this 8-game, 9-game, like, I don't care that you play Vanderbilt. And listen, I'm a fan of Diego Pavia and Clark Lee. I wish Vandy a lot of success. But I don't care that you're playing Kentucky and Vandy and Mississippi State. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. That don't beat your chest over that. So I think that the national narrative between the 9-game conference schedule, the 8 games, first of all, I think you do get more good football because you got people taking the Kurt Signetti angle and using the non-conference games to schedule absolute walkover games, and that's not good for college football. Yeah. So I like the idea of more conference games because you get better competition, but I'm going to give the SEC credit with this. Typically, they like to schedule the big game with the ACC, with the Big Ten, because they like the big stage.
Yeah, so for me, between the Big Ten and the ACC, what I'm frustrated at, if the Big Ten wants to throw their weight around in all these negotiations and say you should go to 9 games and you should do this and we should do the 4-4 whatever model, if you're going to act like you're the big dog because you've won 2 national championships in the past decade, or I mean, I know we've won a couple more. Ohio State's won one in 14, but the SEC has dominated college football for the past decade. You've won the last 2. You've had the better teams in the past 2. I'm fine with saying that. But if you're going to act like the big dog, then stop taking shots at the big dog whenever you have a chance.
Yeah.
You're constantly going after the SEC, and when you're on top, people are coming at you because you're on top. The Big Ten is still acting like their little brother, in my opinion.
My thing is, and I don't care if you're comparing this conference to that conference. My thing, if you're going to add teams, you need to add conference games along with it.
Yeah.
That's just my – listen, when the SEC expanded from 10 to 12, they went from 7 conference games to 8 conference games because they knew, hey, we need to add another conference game because we got 2 more members. Well, when they added A&M and Missouri, they stayed at 8. I thought, well, that's odd. Why are they staying at 8? When they did. They stayed at 8. And here they add Oklahoma and Texas, and they're still talking about staying at 8. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. If you're going to add members, you should add more games because what's the point of having more members if you're not going to play each other? You got Texas A&M has never played in Athens, Georgia.
Nope.
And it's they added them in 2014.
Yep.
And here it is, 11 years later, Texas A&M still has not played a game in Athens, Georgia. That's ridiculous.
And there's pros and cons to this. I think
listen,
if you
I'm gonna
add,
say something.
Go ahead.
I think you can make a point. I think you can make a good argument that you should be playing 10 conference games, much less 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
I really believe that.
So I'll say this as the Notre Dame fan in the room. I like the fact that we're able to schedule 2 SEC teams on our schedule as a Notre Dame fan. Getting to play Texas A&M at Texas A&M last year, hosting them at Notre Dame this year, I think is good for college football. Being able to play Arkansas, being able to schedule down the road with Texas, like that's good for college football. I love those kind of games. And again, Notre Dame, the no conference team, everyone throw your shade. Like they make an effort to schedule those games for a reason.
They play a good schedule every year.
Yeah.
They do.
And so where I stand on this, I think you get more quality games by expanding conference play. But at the same time, as a Notre Dame fan, as a fan of the big stage in college football, I do think the SEC does a good job with their out-of-conference schedule for the most part. I think we need to set a limit on the FCS games or whatever we're calling it now. The money games. We need to set a limit on those. We don't need to be Kurt Signetti at Indiana and playing 4 of them. That's absolutely embarrassing and ridiculous.
And that's what Kansas State did under Bill Snyder forever.
Yes.
And listen, he made a Hall of Fame career out of that.
He made them relevant because of that.
They were the absolute, when I say this, I'm not exaggerating, they were the absolute worst power league school in the entire country. He said, we're going to win all 4 of our non-conference games, and all we have to do is go 2-6 in the Big 12, and we're bowl eligible. And they did that for a long time. And then when they got really good, they continued to play the weak non-conference schedule, which then everyone got upset
when you get good, you can't keep doing it and expect to have a seat at the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about the 9+1, like having 9 conference games and then having like the Big Ten matchup where the SEC one year plays it, and then the next year the SEC plays the ACC. The next year the Big 12.
Yeah,
and
you alternate,
and you rank them to suit. I would be good with that because with the expanded playoffs, we are getting to see matchups that we normally wouldn't get to see. We're getting to see football for longer, and we're getting to see teams that normally wouldn't play each other go to their campuses and do so. So I'm okay with expanding conference games, and meaning we play more in-conference games and play one big out-of-conference game.
Yes.
Because there's a good chance that anywhere from 3 to 6 SEC teams will be playing somebody else in another conference, either hosting or going on the road to doing so.
As long as the selection committee doesn't say, "Oh, well, you lost to that Texas-Ohio State loss," that's gonna hurt you. This should a non-conference game like that should not hurt you, especially if it's a close game.
I think the only way it should is if you get whipped.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you get blown out, if it's a close game, that should not be held against you.
You should be encouraged to play a good,
should not be held against
fun schedule for the fans.
Another thing I hope they don't do is when seeding time comes, make it to where an SEC team plays an SEC team to be able to knock it down so that all of the conferences are represented towards the end. Like, give me a fair ranking if an SEC team so happens to play an SEC team or a Big Ten plays whatever, but we want to see games that we normally wouldn't see.
Right.
And so don't make it to where, like, you think about Omaha, like, the SEC knocked out half the SEC out of Omaha.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to see that in a college football playoff. You want to see the best teams competing against the best teams, whatever they're ranked.
Yeah, I would love to see Michigan come down to Athens. I'd love to see the Florida Gators go to Columbus. I'd love to see Tennessee go to Los Angeles to play USC. How fun would that be?
Yeah, that would be great to kind of like what they do with basketball, have a little bit of a crossover. But, hey, listen, great show, great stuff today. Glad to be back with you guys. And talking a little Braves, a little college football. Going to keep it up tomorrow. Back at it, 5 o'clock here on ESPN Cleveland. Again, glad to be back. It was fun, and got the conversation a little bit fired up to where I think we could probably pick up tomorrow with a little bit more of this college football scheduling stuff.
Got that right.
Because I got to sound off on James Franklin a little bit, and we'll do that tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Don Ledford Chevrolet Buick GMC, located on North Lee Highway in Cleveland. Or visit donledford.com for details. Don Ledford, where we say yes. It's on-time traffic with Commander Chuck.
Good afternoon. Still busy on all the major outbound routes. Keeping an eye on that road work up through there near Shallowford by the mall. Lots of radar in there as traffic continues to build over White Oak Mountain. More lanes here on 24 between the 75 split up towards the Ridge Cut. Blackstone Grill, Chattanooga's new restaurant. It's now open for lunch and dinner. The food service, it's wonderful. 3018 Cummings Highway in Lookout Valley. Go see them tonight at Blackstone Grill. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 423-315-1441.
Hot and muggy as we head into our Friday. Once again, we'll have a high of 93 degrees with a heat index in the upper 90s near 100 degrees. Might see a couple of spotty storms popping up in the afternoon. Rain chance not that great. Mostly sunny skies over the weekend, but boy, is that heat and humidity going to be up another notch. 94 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday, and we will have a heat index of about 100 or 101 both days of the weekend. Download the Local 3 weather app, free for iPhone and Android. I'm Chief Meteorologist David Carnes for the Local 3 Storm Alert Team.
Your current Milligan Vane temperature is 91 degrees. MilliganVane.com.
When you're craving serious burger goodness, head to Hardees for the all-new barbecued pulled pork Frisco burger. A charbroiled quarter-pound, 100% Angus beef patty